This is TechCrunch.
Mark Cuban is ready to fund a TikTok alternative. I'm Imran Sheikh, and it's time for your Friday Daily Crunch, starting with 3 big headlines. Instagram Threads is internally prototyping the ability to add music to posts, the company confirmed to TechCrunch. The option to add music to posts is already available on Meta's other social apps, Instagram and Facebook. It looks like the company is now thinking about bringing the feature to Threads, its ex-competitor. Now, the feature isn't yet being tested publicly and was first spotted by reverse engineer Alessandro Paluzzi, who often finds unreleased features while they're still under development. The option to add music to posts could be a welcome addition for people who want to add a bit more color to their posts and show off their musical taste, as it would be somewhat reminiscent of the MySpace era. However, not everyone would likely be a fan of posts with music because they could be distracting. As with any other internal prototype, it's unknown if or when Meta plans to roll out the feature. TechCrunch reported last week that Threads is also internally prototyping the ability to set a display name and add a cover image to profiles. The new features would bring Threads' user experience more in line with its competitors, including X and Blue Sky. The U.S. ban on TikTok is poised to be delayed as the deadline falls on the MLK Day holiday weekend, and President-elect Donald Trump's incoming administration intends to find a way to extend the deadline, Bloomberg reports. Biden officials see the issue as one for Trump's incoming administration, as the current administration doesn't plan to intervene before the ban's January 19th deadline. One of the officials told Bloomberg that users should not expect the social network to shut down on Sunday. Michael Waltz, Trump's incoming national security advisor, told Fox News' Fox and Friends that the incoming administration will put measures in place to keep TikTok from going dark. The Washington Post also reports that Trump is considering an executive order once in office to buy more time to negotiate a sale or find another solution. Now, while Trump was the one to initiate calls to ban the app during his first term, he took a different approach during his recent campaign and vowed to save the app if elected. Trump has also already asked the Supreme Court, which is currently weighing the ban, to pause the law. Meanwhile, entrepreneur, investor, and Shark Tank denizen Mark Cuban is ready to fund a TikTok alternative built on Blue Sky's AT protocol, he shared in a TikTok video posted on Wednesday. In anticipation of the upcoming U.S. TikTok ban, which will go through on Sunday unless paused by the Supreme Court, users have been fleeing to other video platforms, including the Chinese app RedNote. But investors, like Mark Cuban, see the potential for a more open social web that includes an ecosystem of apps powered by the same technology that today underpins Blue Sky's social network. You see, the AT protocol is a newer open protocol designed for decentralized social media applications. It's meant to address what some developers thought were shortcomings with the existing decentralized protocol ActivityPub used by Mastodon and other social services. While Blue Sky is the AT protocol's flagship app for the time being, there are many other services now being built with the technology. Consumer demand for open social apps is also in full swing, with Blue Sky itself seeing a surge of new signups in the wake of the U.S. presidential elections, growing the network to 27.6 plus million users, up from 10 million plus in September. Meanwhile, on Wednesday, we broke the news of a coming Blue Sky client called Flashes that would focus on images over text. Mark Cuban says he'd like to see and back something that rivals TikTok but is built on the AT protocol. In the video, he briefly describes how AT Proto, as it's called for short, allows people to create their own social networking services and apps. Mark Cuban asked interested developers to respond to the comments of the TikTok post. Let's now throw it over to producer Dennis with today's startup news in about 1 minute.
Thank you, Imran. And distracted driving is one of the leading causes of car accidents and a major reason why auto insurance premiums are expected to increase in 2025. For commercial fleets, that's a nightmare. But for California-based startup Netrodyne, it's a tailwind. Netrodyne provides fleet owners, including big names like Amazon, with AI-enabled dash cams that collect vehicle data and video to improve driver safety, reducing accidents by around 50% per the company. The devices, which can come equipped with inward and outward facing cameras, also use edge computing to send drivers real-time notifications if they're distracted or driving dangerously, while rewarding drivers for good behavior. Netrodyne has just raised a $90 million Series D at a pre-money valuation of $1.25 billion. And the process for getting screened for cervical cancer is quite intimidating. It's the once-a-year, sometimes life-changing treatment that involves the bright lights of a doctor's office and an uncomfortable insertion that always seems to last too long. Introducing Teal Health, a company sharing resources about women's health and looking to create products so women can conduct cervical cancer screenings at home. It would be a first-of-a-kind product and is awaiting FDA approval. The company came out of stealth mode in January 2023 and began clinical trials that November. Teal Health just announced a $10 million seed extension, bringing its total funding to $23 million. And that'll do it for me. Imran, back to you.
And that's your Daily Crunch. Today's stories were reported by Aisha Malik, Sarah Perez, and more beautiful, lovely TechCrunch journalists. We'll see you here tomorrow, same tech time, same Crunch channel. And until then, find us at TechCrunch.com.